Coming up tonight on YCN News, the U.S. and Cuba continue to work to strengthen their diplomatic bonds. Veterans across the nation will qualify for in-state tuition in every state. And we speak with the MVP from the Granite State Games basketball tournament. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN News, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, it's Wednesday, July 1st. I'm Kurt Weedy and welcome to YCN News. Well, diplomatic ties between the United States and Cuba continue to thaw, with President Barack Obama today saying that each nation will open embassies in the other's country. U.S. Senator from Vermont Patrick Leahy supports this action, as he notes in a press statement. After 55 years, the wealthiest, most powerful nation, which stands for ideals aspired to by people around the world, writes Leahy, will be represented by an official embassy where we can put our best face forward on behalf of the American people, as well as the people of Cuba. Before an embassy can be opened, Secretary of State John Kerry, through his office, must formally notify Congress of the intent to reopen an embassy in Havana. Congress has 15 days to review this application before authorizing that an embassy be established. Well, from the health desk comes word of a new medical screening for all babies born in the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire Public Radio reports that screening for the rare genetic disorder known informally as the bubble boy disease will begin today and going forward. Severe combined immunodeficiency disorder is when a baby cannot fight off any illness, which requires extreme measures to ward off germs. The disorder is inherited, Trish Tilley of the New Hampshire State Department of Health and Human Services tells NHPR. This immunodeficiency disorder is also known by its acronym SCID. SCID will be added to the list of 33 genetic disorders babies born in New Hampshire are routinely screened for. Well, also in medical news today, a visiting nurse association may work closer with Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center to increase access to home health care, reports the Eagle Times. The visiting nurse and hospice for Vermont and New Hampshire and Dartmouth Hitchcock have been in discussion about a plan to ensure more and better access to this at-home care for residents. Talks will continue between the two entities as part of a formal plan to see if an affiliation will meet patients' needs and providers' goals. The proposed affiliation would not affect any of V&H's existing relationships with other hospitals, healthcare providers, or cities and towns. And in higher education updates, military veterans are getting a price break. Even if a veteran living in any state is only a temporary resident, he or she will qualify for in-state tuition at all public colleges and universities nationwide, according to Vermont Public Radio. About 49,000 military veterans call Vermont home, and of those ranks, many are expected to transition to civilian life over the next few years. A new federal law beginning today will allow military veterans to pay the same tuition as in-state students, regardless of their home state or legal residence. Previously, even with the GI Bill that helped so many veterans get back on track with their lives once military service ended, Vermont veterans had to pay the higher out-of-state tuition. Well, coming up next, Senator Kelly Ayotte launches her campaign for re-election in 2016. We'll have that story for you when YCN News continues.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Kurt Weedy. Well, as presidential candidates continue to make news in preparation of the Iowa caucuses and then the first-in-the-nation primary in New Hampshire, so is one U.S. Senator's re-election bid catching attention. Republican Kelly Ayotte, the lone GOP member between New Hampshire and Vermont's congressional delegation, already is launching her campaign for 2016. The 47-year-old Ayotte earlier served as New Hampshire's Attorney General. Ayotte, in a statement, says she will run a campaign focused on residents' needs and not solely the needs of the GOP. Well, a 23-year-old man from Wethersfield, Vermont survived a serious car crash yesterday evening on Interstate 91, a crash that police say may have been due to driver fatigue. Dylan Brown was near exit 10 South on I-91 near Hartford, Vermont at 11:50 p.m. when he lost control of the vehicle. The road was reported to have been wet at the time. The 2007 Ford Focus went off the road and into a rock ledge. The car is totaled, police say, and Brown suffered minor cuts and abdominal pain. It should be noted that he was wearing a seatbelt. For long-distance runners, there's a date you may want to remember. New England Cable News reports that registration for the 2016 Boston Marathon will begin online at 10 a.m. on Monday, September 14th. The fastest runners by age and gender will sign up first at the digital address of the Boston Athletic Association. Go to BAA.org to register. It costs $180 for U.S. residents and $240 for runners from other countries. And finally, tomorrow in White River Junction, Vermont, New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan will participate in the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the White River Junction Vet Center's new location. The new location will be a physical reminder and honor to New Hampshire and Vermont military veterans for their service to their fellow citizens. The White River Junction Vet Center is moving to a new location where the center will continue to serve veterans from Vermont and 4 counties in New Hampshire. Well, coming up next on YCN News, Kearsarge Chronicle's Sean Bowman spoke with Rebecca Corser of the Warner Historical Society and what they have to offer. We'll have that conversation for you when YCN News continues. Stick around.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it was definitely a wet way to kick off July, but it looks like there'll be plenty of sun coming up for the end of the work week and into the holiday weekend. Showers will continue into the evening hours tonight, coming down heavy at times with temperatures bottoming out at about 59 degrees. But things will clear up in time for the early morning hours tomorrow, making for mostly sunny skies and a high of 76. Skies will remain clear tomorrow evening, though it will be windy with gusts of up to 10 miles per hour and temperatures dropping to a low of 50 degrees. Friday appears to be the pick of the work week, with bright sunny skies and a high of 78 during the day, before falling to about 57 Friday evening. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to see what's happening in the area. The Abbott Library in Sunapee, New Hampshire will hold its weekly story time for preschoolers and their parents or caregivers tomorrow morning beginning at 10 a.m. Come enjoy a morning of stories and crafts. Visit abbottlibrary.org for more information. The Ladies Auxiliary of the Croydon Fire Department will hold its weekly bingo night tomorrow beginning at 6:30 p.m. at the Claremont Senior Center off Maple Avenue in Claremont, New Hampshire. The event is open to anyone ages 18 or older. Both Newport, New Hampshire and Bellows Falls, Vermont will hold their weekly farmers markets on Friday, with Newport's taking place on the town commons from 3 to 6 p.m. and Bellows Falls happening right downtown on Canal Street from 4 to 7 p.m. Both markets will be held rain or shine. This morning I got the chance to meet with Sunapee senior Matt Tenney to talk to him about his experiences playing basketball for Team Monadnock at the inaugural Granite State Games this past week down at Southern New Hampshire University. Tenney helped lead his team to a 4-1 record in the 3-day tournament featuring the state's top returning high school athletes and an eventual gold medal after its 6-point victory over Team Southern in Sunday's finals. The point guard single-handedly erased a 5-point deficit during the second half of the gold medal game with an impressive 9-0 run and matched Lebanon's KJ Maddie with a team-high 13 points. The effort earned him MVP honors, which Tenney said was an added bonus after having already accomplished his #1 goal in winning the tournament.
Yeah, I was just playing the game. I just wanted to win the championship so bad. That was the one thing that was on my mind, because after losing to the Southern team the day before and having the players on their team, they're pretty good. And I just was going into that game and just wanted to win it and just show everyone that we can't beat anybody in the state. And the MVP just came at the end. I was just playing the second half. I realized that I wasn't going to be able to play these games ever again being a junior, so I just wanted to leave everything out there and see how far I could go. And I just got the MVP at the end, but that was just a bonus compared to the championship we got.
Tenney added that there was never a question as to what the team was hoping to accomplish in the tournament, even despite never having played together before tryouts this past spring.
Yeah, we wanted to win it. Obviously, that's a mindset of everyone most of the time, but we just really wanted to have good guys and a good team and have good chemistry out there and be able to play and win it out there. And we didn't know how good the other competition was going to be first year, obviously, but we wanted to be able to go out there and perform and show everyone that we can do it out there. And I'm sure people thought that we were going to be one of the worst divisions, the Monadnock region, but don't know, I like being the underdog, and that's what we usually are some of the time, so it was good being able to go out there and show them what we can do.
Tenney said he's disappointed he won't be able to play in the tournament again, but encourages anyone who is eligible next year to give the Granite State Games a try.
I would definitely encourage, like, not just because like the exposure and everything that it does, but just how it is and like how fun it is. Just you get to be with a team, just guys you don't play with during the year, and you get to go out there and just like play basketball and just do everything you love, and everybody else around you loves it too. So just the environment is good and everything, and getting to meet new people and having everyone around you, the coaches, and how it's run. It was run really well, no problems, and I look forward to going back there and seeing other teams next year and see how they do.
Be sure to check out tomorrow's broadcast when we highlight the area athletes selected to New Hampshire's All-State Baseball team. That does it for YCN Sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks, Mike. Well, Capital Connections host John O'Connor interviewed New Hampshire Representative Neil Kirk of the House Finance Committee last week. After the break, we'll bring you part 3 of their conversation, focusing on the prospect of expanding Medicaid in the state. Stay tuned for that.
The YCN News continues in a moment.